Have you ever let a fleeting moment of anger ruin your entire day? A sharp insult, a careless remark, and suddenly your emotions take over, pulling you off course and leading to words you later regret. Why does anger make us feel so powerless? More importantly, how do we reclaim that power? The Stoics believed your mind, not others or circumstances, is the true battlefield. They taught that real strength isn't in shouting louder, but in choosing not to react at all. Opt for calm over chaos. Refuse to give your peace to those who don't deserve it. This video will guide you to never feel anger or frustration toward anyone or anything again. Not by suppressing emotions, but by transforming how you respond. You'll master time-tested Stoic techniques to pause before reacting, detach from pointless triggers, and command your emotions like a warrior of the mind. Struggling with this isn't weakness, it's human. Every man has faced anger and disrespect, but few rise above it. This is your moment to change that. If you're tired of being drained by your emotions, this is for you. Like the video, subscribe for more Stoic strategies, and share it with someone who needs to reclaim their peace. Because once you grasp Stoicism, you don't just control anger, you become unshakable. And that changes everything. First, see emotional outbursts as habits you can unlearn. You weren't born angry. You weren't born snapping at drivers, slamming doors, or replaying arguments for hours. Those reactions, which now feel instinctive, were learned over years of stress, pride, and a world telling men to be tough, loud, and dominant. But true strength isn't noise, it's silence. The most powerful man in the room doesn't flinch, doesn't growl back, and doesn't let trivial things steal his inner peace. Anger isn't just an emotion, it's a habit. And like any habit, it can be broken. But first, you must see it for what it is, a chain reaction you keep fueling. A driver cuts you off. Your boss belittles you. Your partner says something sharp. And before you can think, your mouth fires back. It's a vicious cycle. Most men stay trapped in it their whole lives, believing it's just who they are. But the Stoics saw it differently. They didn't view anger as a personality trait. They saw it as weakness in disguise. Epictetus said, "Anyone who can be made angry becomes its slave." Harsh, but true. When you react blindly, you hand power to what provoked you. You become predictable, manipulable, and emotionally drained. Now, picture this. You're in line at the DMV, waiting over an hour. Someone cuts in front of you without a word. Anger surges. Your chest tightens. Jaw clenches. You're ready to snap. That moment is your battlefield. You can fight the same losing war you always have. Or pause and ask one simple question. Does anger make this better? You know the answer. You've raged before. What did it bring? More stress, regret, and distance from the man you're trying to be. This is where Stoicism shifts everything. You don't need to bury your emotions. You need to step outside them. Observe them like clouds drifting across the sky. Acknowledge their presence, but don't let them steer your course. Your rational mind, your inner compass, is the true driver. This is the strength the Stoics honed through discipline. Most men go through life believing their anger is justified, a sign they care deeply, and that calm signals weakness or indifference. But that's a lie. Anyone can get angry. It's the easy path. What takes real discipline? maturity. And grit is staying composed when the world tries to shake you. When someone disrespects you and you refuse to let it rattle you, that's true dominance. When life throws chaos your way and you stand firm, that's control. So, the next time anger flares in your chest, what will you do? Pause. Take a deep breath. Remind yourself, this anger is a habit. I don't have to carry it anymore. Then walk away, not out of weakness, but because you're strong enough to not waste energy on what doesn't deserve it. You're not here to be provoked. You're here to reclaim your power. That starts not with the world changing, but with you responding differently. Respond like a man who masters his mind. Respond like a Stoic. Second, master yourself instead of trying to control others. It's tempting to lash out, yell, or storm off when you feel slighted. That's what most men do. When they feel disrespected, they react to reclaim some sense of power. But that power is an illusion. It burns hot, fades fast, and always leaves you weaker than before. True control doesn't come from overpowering others. It comes from mastering yourself in the heat of the moment. Anger lies to you. It tells you that if you don't react, you're weak. That if someone pushes you, you must push back harder. That silence is surrender. But think back. How often has anger truly solved anything you yell? They yell louder. You prove your point but lose a relationship. You win the argument but lose sleep over what you said. In the end, you feel drained because you were never in control. You were just reacting on instinct. Now imagine you're in a meeting at work. Your manager unfairly criticizes your idea in front of the team with a smug tone. The heat of anger rises. Every fiber of you wants to fight back. Defend your honor. Shut down the critique. But something stops you. A quiet voice inside says, reacting now will make this worse. So you pause, breathe, and say, thank you for the feedback. I'll review it. Then you move on. Later, in private, you address it with clarity, not emotion. That's self-mastery. That's strength. That's Stoicism. Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you'll find strength. The Stoics didn't let their ego lead. They believed in measured responses, clarity over chaos. They knew what many men still don't. Trying to control others is a losing game. What you can always control is how you choose to show up. Many men mistake silence for weakness. Thinking walking away strips their masculinity. But recall the last time someone lost their temper in front of you. Did you respect them more? Or did they lose credibility? Anger shouts, but respect whispers. When you stay calm in the face of provocation, you become untouchable, and that unsettles others far more than any outburst could be. The Stoic path doesn't mean you never speak up. It means you choose when and how to speak. Driven by reason, not rage. By delaying your reaction, letting emotions settle before acting, you create space. In that space, you find wisdom. You make clearer decisions. You preserve your dignity. The next time someone disrespects you, don't take the bait. They may act small, but you stand tall, not out of fear, but because you choose not to be swept into their storm. You rise above, not for them, but for you. That's true control. It's not about who gets the last word, but who keeps their calm to the end. Start today. Don't try to control the room. Control your breath, your words, your expression, your energy. You'll walk away from every conflict with something most men never hold: unbroken dignity. That's a victory no one can take. Third, build calm like a muscle through daily practice. You can't expect to stay steady in chaos if you've never trained for stillness. Most men miss this. They wait until anger, insult, or overwhelm hits before trying to control themselves. But emotional strength doesn't switch on command. It must be forged, cultivated. It's built in quiet moments when no one's watching. Just as your body won't grow strong without consistent training, your mind won't stand firm under pressure without daily practice. Self-mastery isn't a light switch, it's a skill you sharpen. Picture a man who's never lifted weights, stepping into a gym and trying to bench 300 pounds, he'll fail. Your emotions work the same way. If you haven't practiced pausing, breathing, and sitting with discomfort instead of reacting, the first time life hits hard, you'll crumble. Not because you're weak, but because you're untrained. Now imagine coming home after a long day. Your kid spills juice on your laptop. The urge to snap surges. But something's different. You've trained for this. Instead of exploding, you pause, breathe, and say, "Let's clean it up." That moment feels small, but it's not. It's a rep. It's strength in action, and it prepares you for bigger storms. Stoicism isn't a philosophy for monks on mountaintops. It's built for real life, for soldiers, leaders, workers, fathers, men, surrounded by pressure, noise, and conflict. It teaches that peace doesn't come from isolation, but from training your mind to stay steady in the storm. And that training starts with the smallest things. Wake up early to reflect. Journal your thoughts before bed. Choose silence over sarcasm when provoked. These aren't empty rituals, they're workouts for your soul. Most men wait for a challenge to prove they're calm, but that's backward. You must prepare beforehand. Build habits to sharpen focus. Deepen your breath. Heighten awareness. Because when pressure comes, you don't rise to the occasion, you fall to your level of training. The Stoics knew this. Marcus Aurelius journaled daily about what challenged him, how he could respond better tomorrow. Not because he was weak, but because he wanted to be stronger. Epictetus, once a slave, taught that discipline starts not with grand acts, but with mastering daily thoughts and emotions. They made calm a daily practice, not a fleeting reflex. To stop being the man who crumbles when life veers off course, become the man who trains before it does. Embrace discomfort rather than fleeing it. Feel your breath when you're tempted to lash out. Reflect each night. Even briefly, those moments aren't small. They're your emotional weightlifting. No one is born a stoic, nor wakes up with perfect self-control. But the man who persists, repeats, and trains becomes untouchable. That calm is built like anything else, through effort, practice, and time. Don't wait for the world to test you. Test yourself every day. The man who sharpens his mind in quiet moments stands unshaken when chaos strikes. Fourth, release what doesn't serve you. Your days mapped out, gym at dawn. Work nailed down. All in order. Then traffic snarls. A meeting's cancelled. Your boss dumps more work on you. Frustration builds fast. That tightness in your chest. The burn in your throat. It's not just the events. It's you fighting them. You're not angry because things changed. You're angry because you expected them not to. But the world doesn't care about your schedule. Life doesn't ask permission to shift course. The harder you grip your expectations, the deeper your pain. That's not frailty. It's clinging to an illusion. Holding on traps you. A man who needs the world to align perfectly for peace will never find it. Letting go isn't surrender. It's choosing what's worth your strength. It's learning to distinguish between what you can control and what you can't. No matter how tightly you grip, the Stoics understood this better than anyone. They didn't waste energy on traffic, rude people, or shifting plans. They saved it for what they could shape their character, their thoughts, their responses. When life disrupts your plans, don't leap to react. Pause. Ask, can I control this? If not, don't feed it your focus. Let it slip by like a storm cloud passing overhead. You're not ignoring it. You're refusing to let it consume you. That's not avoidance. It's mastery. Many men think control means forcing everything to bend to their will. But real control is adaptability. Power isn't making the world obey you. It's staying calm when it doesn't. Stoicism isn't passive. It's precise. It doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop wasting energy on what you can't change. That shift unlocks strength for what truly matters. Imagine you're in a parking lot. A stranger backs into your car, dents it, then shrugs like it's nothing. Rage surges. You want to demand fairness, but you pose. Will anger erase the dent? Will it make them care? No. So you calmly file the claim and move on. Your peace intact. You keep your energy intact. You drive away, not just with a dented bumper, but with your dignity whole. That's how you act. That's victory. Not because you let them off, but because you didn't lose anything beyond metal. They didn't take your peace, your sleep, or your strength. You held on to those because you let go of what wasn't worth holding. The Stoic's strength isn't loud. It doesn't cling, it releases. And in that release lies true control. Start asking yourself more often, is this worth carrying in my mind? If not, let it go. The man who chooses what to keep and what to leave behind doesn't rage at every storm. He walks through chaos with clarity, calm, and unshaken resolve. That man, even in turmoil, always commands himself. Fifth, turn conflict into a test of character. You can't avoid conflict, not while you're living, working, connecting, or building something real. Someone will challenge you, misunderstand you, belittle you, or push your limits. That's life. But most men meet conflict with raw emotion. They see it as a threat to their pride, a moment to win or prove something. They tense up, raise their voice, and try to dominate. But in doing so, they miss conflict's true nature. It's not a threat to your power, it's a mirror reflecting it. Conflict reveals where you still lack control, where your ego still pulls the strings. It shows where you're still enslaved to others' opinions. This is why Stoics saw every confrontation, every insult, every injustice not as a problem, but as a chance to practice. They believed life constantly offers you opportunities to train your mind by refusing to be dragged down by noise. Imagine you're at a hardware store checkout. You've waited patiently while the clerk helps others. Then someone behind you steps forward, waves their receipt, and demands service first. They're loud. Eyes are on you. Your heart races. Jaw tightens, ready to erupt. But you don't. Instead, you step back inwardly. You ask, what's really at stake here? My time, my pride, or my inner peace? In that moment, you choose not to be diminished, but to rise above. That's not weakness, it's strength restrained. Many men think staying calm means surrendering, that not reacting lets others trample you. But letting emotions rule you, that's the real loss of control. A Stoic doesn't dodge conflict. He just doesn't let it own him. He speaks when necessary, but not from a place of fire. He speaks with clarity, knowing that the worst thing than being disrespected is stooping to match that disrespect. The more you treat each challenge as a test not of who's right, but of who masters the moment, the stronger you become. Conflict stops being a battlefield and becomes a training ground. You stop wasting energy on petty arguments. You stop letting small people shrink your world. Instead, you use every moment to build resilience. Marcus Aurelius lived this way. He ruled an empire, faced betrayal, war, and politics, yet kept his calm. He didn't chase revenge, he chased integrity, knowing each encounter was a chance to practice self-mastery, not just occasionally, but daily. Men who live like this don't just survive conflict, they walk through it unchanged, unharmed. So, the next time someone provokes you, try this. Instead of firing back with anger, stay silent. Instead of proving a point, protect your own energy. Instead of letting their chaos become yours, be the calm they can't touch. Not to show off, not to be liked, but because you've trained yourself to rise above what doesn't deserve to bring you down. You're not here to react to every slight. You're here to sharpen your character. Every moment of conflict is a chance to do that. Respond with mastery. That's how you win. And each time you do, you prove something greater than dominance. You prove you've mastered the toughest battlefield yourself. Sixth, live in the present. Your imagination fuels your anger. It's not the moment that enrages you, but your mind racing 10 steps ahead or spiraling 10 steps back. You're not mad about what was said, but about what it means, what might happen next, what it says about you, or what you should have said. That noise in your head, it's the root of most of your suffering. Until you learn to stop living in the past or future, you'll keep losing control in the only moment that matters. Men rarely admit this, but it happens constantly. A car cuts you off a 3-second annoyance, yet your mind replays it for 30 minutes, imagining confrontations, yelling, proving who's boss. You carry that weight into your next call, your next meeting, even your dinner table. The moment's gone, but your mind drags it like a chain. That's how small things become heavy burdens, because you never learned to let go when they happened. Stoicism cuts through that mess like a sharp blade. It reminds you that you only have now. In this moment, there's no insult, no imagined outcome, no history to fix. Just your breath, your actions, your choices. Marcus Aurelius trained himself to return to the present whenever his thoughts strayed. He told himself, you could leave life right now. Let that guide what you do, say, and think. Not tomorrow, not after you win an argument right now. The trap is believing your thoughts are truth. Just because you think it doesn't make it real. Most of what you react to isn't real, it's imagination. The Stoics knew an unchecked mind creates needless suffering. Your imagination, left unguarded, spins enemies that don't exist and arguments that never happened. Try this. You're heading into a tense talk with someone you don't like. You're braced for conflict, expecting disrespect. That tension doesn't come from their words. It comes from the future you've built in your head. Stop. Return to now. They might say something rude, or they might not. Either way, you'll handle it better with a clear mind than a cluttered one. That's why mindfulness isn't just spiritual fluff. It's a tactical edge. It keeps your head sharp when instinct craves chaos. You don't need to meditate for hours to get this. Just notice your breath, your posture, the sounds around you, the feel of your feet on the ground. Each time your mind spins stories, pull it back. Train it like a muscle to stay here. Now, when you do, you stop overreacting to things that haven't happened. You stop reliving what you can't change. You stop rehearsing what doesn't need saying. You start responding not from anxiety or fear, but from presence. That's where your calm lives. That's where your strength resides. You don't control the past or the future, but you control this moment. And if you can master this moment, even for a few breaths, you're not just practicing Stoicism, you're living free. That's a power no one can take from you. 7th, release the weight of resentment before it ages you. Resentment doesn't just poison your mind, it wears down your body. You've seen it, men who look exhausted despite rest, men who carry themselves heavily, though they bear no physical load, men who flinch at kindness because they're used to betrayal. That weight isn't physical, it's emotional. The longer you hold on to anger, blame, and bitterness, the more it erodes your energy, clarity, and ability to feel lightness. Most men don't even realize it's happening. They think they've moved on because they stay silent. But silence isn't healing. Just because you don't speak it doesn't mean it's not shaping how you talk. Trust, or live. The grudge you've carried for years still sits on your shoulders at night. The way you snap quickly when someone brushes your boundaries, that's the proof. This is why Stoics saw forgiveness not as a moral duty, but as self-preservation. Letting go isn't about excusing what happened. It's about refusing to let it keep controlling you. Every bit of resentment you hold steals your present peace. No one deserves that power over your life, not even those who hurt you. Think back to a time someone crossed a line. Maybe they lied, walked away, or shamed you in front of others. You swore you'd never forget, and maybe you haven't. But each time you recall it, your stomach tightens, your energy drains, your peace slips away. That's not strength, it's self-inflicted pain. You're reliving what they did, even though they've long forgotten. That's the trap. Thinking holding on protects you, when it only weakens you. The Stoics didn't see anger as armor. They let it go like a flame in their hands, knowing it burns the holder most. Forgiveness doesn't mean trusting them again. It's clearing space in your heart for something better, lighter. It starts with a choice. Stop feeding the story of what they did. Each time you replay the pain, you deepen the wound. So don't rehearse it. Start guarding your energy. You're in a break room. Someone throws a subtle jab. You know it's a slight. You could fire back. Carry it home. Vent to a friend. Let it spin in your mind until midnight. Or you can smile, not out of weakness, but because you've stopped carrying burdens that aren't yours. You breathe deeply. You walk away, and you leave the weight behind. That's not passivity, it's controlled strength. It's knowing what deserves your energy and what doesn't. When you start releasing resentment, you'll feel it in your walk, your sleep, your clarity of thought. Forgiveness isn't a favor to them, it's a gift to yourself. Let go, not for their sake, but to stop dragging the past into your present. Your future is longer than your past. Make room for it. The man who lives lightly walks faster, breathes deeper, and lives freer. You can be that man if you're willing to release the weight. Pause for a second before reacting. That changes everything. It happens faster than you think. A single comment, a tone, a careless remark, and you're halfway to raising your voice or slamming a door. By the time you realize you're angry, the reaction has already taken hold. That's how most men live, on autopilot, triggered by the outside, pulled by inner stress. But what if that brief moment between spark and flame is where you seize power? Stoicism begins in that stillness, the space between what happens and how you choose to act next. That's the real battlefield, not the argument or the insult. The true fight is in that breath, that tiny moment where you decide, do I react as I always have, or respond as the man I want to be? Most don't even notice this space. Their emotions outrun their awareness. But once you see it, you realize how much control you have and how much you've given away. Imagine you're at home. Your teenage son talks back, his tone and look cutting deep. You're ready to snap, but something holds you back. You take a breath and say, I'll respond in a moment. That act is power, not silence born of fear, but restraint with purpose. You've just broken a cycle that repeats in countless homes, and now you're forging a new one. The mistake is thinking that not reacting quickly means losing respect. That pausing signals weakness. But those 2 seconds give you clarity. They let your mind process, decide, and prepare. That's what the Stoics trained for, not the absence of emotion, but mastery over its timing. Marcus Aurelius didn't say to never feel. He said, don't act unless it serves something greater. And that greatness often starts with silence. We live in a world that glorifies quick reactions, answer texts instantly, fire back immediately, defend yourself now. But emotional discipline isn't about speed, it's about precision. Saying the right thing, at the right time, with the right tone. You can't do that if adrenaline speaks for you. You need to pause, breathe, name the emotion before it becomes something you regret. No years of meditation required, just a choice. When pressure hits, pause. Tell yourself, I don't need to react yet. Step into another room. Take 10 deep breaths. Ask, what outcome do I want? Then, and only then, speak or act, not from ego, but from will. The Stoic man isn't cold, he's clear, not slow, but steady. He doesn't suppress emotion, he directs it. In that moment of stillness, he sees more clearly the consequences, the opportunities, and he steps into both with a steady hand. From now on, treat every tense moment as your training ground. When your heart races, your face flushes, your fists clench, don't act yet. Let the moment settle, then decide how to master it. The man who masters the pause doesn't just win arguments, he wins himself. And that's a victory worth choosing, over and over. Now you see, you're not a prisoner of your emotions. You're not bound by anger, resentment, or the need to react. What the Stoics taught, what men like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus lived, is that calm isn't natural, it's earned through practice. Self-control isn't denial, it's discipline. And peace isn't weakness, it's strength forged in silence. We've explored how anger is a habit you can break, how true power comes from mastering yourself, and how emotional strength is built through small daily choices. You've learned that letting go isn't defeat, it's wisdom. Staying present is your strongest shield against stress. And in every tense moment, you have a window, a pause where your character is forged. This isn't just theory, it's your life. It shows in how you treat your partner, how you hold your ground in meetings, how you walk away from noise and stand firm in your values. Every moment is a chance to practice. The more you train, the more natural it becomes. That's how you stop being swayed by every slight and become unshakable. I invite you to start today. Train your breath. Guard your words. Master the pause. And build a mind that can't be rattled by what you can't control. If this resonates, share your story in the comments. What recent moment tested you? What did you learn by holding back? We learn by reflecting and grow by helping others do the same. Because, in the end, the man who masters his thoughts, reactions, and energy is the one who masters his life. That's the kind of strength that endures.